The laughter and chatter fill our home, a buzz of celebration that wraps around me like a warm blanket. It's our daughter Emily's 7th birthday, and the house is decked out with balloons, streamers, and all her favorite foods. I catch myself watching her from across the room, her laughter infectious, her eyes bright with the sheer joy of being the center of attention on her special day. As I mingle through the crowd, I stop to chat with a few close friends and neighbors. Everyone remarks how quickly Emily is growing up, how she looks more like her mother every day. Speaking of Claire, I scan the room to find her, expecting her to be by Emily's side, but she's not there. It's not like her to miss any of these moments. I excuse myself and head toward the kitchen, thinking she might be refilling snacks or grabbing more drinks. As I approach, I hear faint giggles that don't belong to my wife alone. Pausing by the doorway, hidden from view, I see her with Jason, her coworker. They aren't just talking, they are too close. Their body language a silent tale of intimacy. My heart tightens as I watch Jason lean in and plant a kiss on Claire's lips. A kiss she returns without hesitation. The warmth of the party turns cold inside me. I feel my face flushed with a mix of anger and shock. How long has this been going on? Under our own roof, at our daughter's party? I step back, struggling to process the scene before me. A part of me wants to storm in there, confront them both, but another part reels, seeking a moment to gather myself. Taking deep breaths, I remind myself to think. I need evidence, something concrete if this ugly truth ever spills into something more. My mind races to the security cameras we installed last year, the silent guardians of our supposed sanctuary. I rush to my office, my hands slightly trembling as I pull up the footage. There it is, clear as day, the betrayal captured in digital clarity. Armed with my laptop, I return to the party, my resolve hardening with each step. The festive noises now sound hollow, mocking. I find Claire and Jason rejoining the party, their smiles a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside me. Without a word, I open the laptop, turning the screen towards them, then towards the curious eyes of our friends and family. The room falls silent, the video looping the kiss for all to see. Claire's face drains of color, her eyes darting from the screen to me, anger replacing her initial shock. "You can't prove anything, you cuck," she hisses, venom in her voice. The word slices through the murmurs of the crowd, but I stand firm. "I just did," I reply calmly, pointing at the screen. "Now get out of my house, a dollar's dollar shies," she snaps, her composure cracking. "You'll regret this." Her threat hangs in the air, a chilling promise as the facade of our life together crumbles in front of everyone. What comes next, I can't be sure. But as I watch her storm off with Jason in tow, I know nothing will ever be the same again. The party's festive atmosphere crumbles into a stunned silence, the buzz of laughter now replaced by murmurs and whispers. I stand rooted in the middle of the room, my mind racing. The door slams behind Claire and Jason, their departure leaving a cold void in its wake. Guests begin to trickle out, their glances alternating between pity and discomfort, none daring to speak a word to me. Alone now, I start pacing the now quiet house, every step echoing louder than the last. The betrayal slices through me again and again. The shock slowly gives way to anger, a fierce, burning rage that demands action. I grab my phone and start making calls, seeking the advice of anyone who might know what to do next. A lawyer friend suggests immediate steps to protect myself legally, which sets the wheels of a painful process into motion. The next morning, I visit the lawyer's office, a cold, sterile place that seems to mirror my inner turmoil. We discuss the divorce, custody of Emily, and the possible consequences of the scandal. The lawyer is blunt, his words like punches. Protect your assets, secure your parental rights, and brace for her retaliation. I nod, feeling the weight of each decision, each signature sealing a part of my fate. Claire's reaction to the divorce papers is swift and venomous. She denies the affair despite the evidence, painting herself as the victim of my accusations. Her texts are a mix of icy threats and fiery promises of revenge. "You'll regret this," she writes. "I'll make sure you lose everything." The threats aren't empty for long. Within weeks, I feel the squeeze of her influence. Rumors start circulating at work, whispers of my supposed instability and aggression. I confront my boss, who awkwardly suggests I take some time off to sort things out. The insinuation stings, the first real indication that Claire's poison is seeping into every aspect of my life. My bank accounts are next. Large withdrawals bleed them almost dry, transactions I don't recognize but instantly understand. Claire's doing surely. The calls to customer service are frustrating, the process to reclaim my funds slow and humiliating. My financial security, once solid, now teeters on the edge. But it's when I pick Emily up from school one afternoon, her eyes wide with confusion and fear, that Claire's cruelty hits hardest. "Mommy says you don't want us anymore," she whispers, her words a dagger to my heart. I kneel before her, assuring her of my love, dispelling Claire's lies. But the damage is palpable. Claire is using our daughter as a weapon against me, a tactic that boils my blood and tears at my resolve. I seek solace in friends, but find many doors subtly closed. Whispers of my supposed sins have reached them too, Claire's narrative taking hold. I'm isolated, the web of lies tightening around me. My support system crumbles, leaving me to face the storm alone. At night, I lie awake, the image of Claire and Jason haunting me. Their laughter, their whispers, the way she looked at him, it's a mental loop that fuels a mix of heartache and fury. I recall every touch, every glance they shared, not just at the party but in the weeks before, now seen under the harsh light of truth. The signs were there, but I had been too trusting, too blind. The thought of facing Claire in court fills me with dread and anger. I start collecting evidence, documenting everything, the texts, the bank statements, the rumors at work. Each piece is a weapon I need to arm myself with, a shield against her attacks. But as the pile grows, so does my anxiety. The looming trial feels like a battlefield, one where the outcome will determine much more than just legal standings. It will dictate my future and Emily's. As the date approaches, I steel myself, knowing Claire won't hold back. She'll come armed with lies, with tears, with every trick to paint herself as the wronged party. I must be ready, must remain strong. The fight for my daughter, for my life, is about to begin, and I can't afford to lose. The stakes are too high, the enemy too familiar. My resolve hardens. This is not just a battle for justice, but a war for my very soul. My efforts to stabilize my life are met with an onslaught of complications, each more debilitating than the last. At work, my boss hesitantly informs me that there have been formal complaints against my conduct. "Anonymous tips," he says with a sigh. I know instantly that Claire is orchestrating this to tarnish my reputation further. Despite my explanations and the lack of real evidence against me, the company decides to place me on administrative leave. The news hits like a punch to the gut. Without my income, the financial strain tightens. As I drive home, the weight of the world seems to press down on my shoulders. Claire's threats echo in my mind, her words a sinister promise fulfilled. When I get home, there's a letter from her lawyer. She's filed for full custody of Emily, citing my supposed instability and aggression. The accusations are ludicrous but crafted cleverly enough to stir doubt. That night, sleep is a distant friend, the hours ticking by in a haze of worry and frustration. Determined not to be beaten down, I start gathering evidence of my own. I contact old friends, colleagues, anyone who might help corroborate my character and expose Claire's lies. Each conversation is a mix of encouragement and painful revelations about how far Claire has gone to paint me as the villain in her narrative. My lawyer and I spend hours strategizing for the upcoming custody hearing. He advises me to maintain a calm demeanor, to counter Claire's narrative with hard evidence, in testament to my role as a loving father. "It's not just about proving you're not what she says," he tells me, his voice firm. "It's about showing the court the depth of her deception." The hearing is set in a stark courtroom, a place where my fate and my daughter's future will be decided. Claire is there, dressed in a carefully chosen outfit meant to project innocence and vulnerability. She avoids my gaze, but I can see the determination set in her rigid posture. Her lawyer is slick, his words smooth as he paints a picture of Claire as the concerned mother, forced to take drastic measures against a supposedly dangerous man. When it's my turn, I take a deep breath and tell my side of the story. I speak of our once happy family, of Claire's betrayal, and her subsequent vindictiveness. My lawyer presents bank statements, emails, and witness statements from people who attest to my integrity and her manipulative behavior. The contrast between our presentations is stark, and I can feel the tide beginning to turn. The judge's decision, however, will take days, and the wait is agonizing. I spend time with Emily, cherishing every moment, every smile. She's confused by the turmoil, but resilient, her laughter a balm to my frayed nerves. Amidst this, a breakthrough comes unexpectedly. A former colleague of Claire's reaches out to me, remorse coloring his tone. He admits to being coerced by Claire to lie about my behavior at work, providing fabricated stories to support her claims. Armed with this new testimony, my lawyer files an emergency motion to reconsider the custody arrangement, just as the judge is about to make her decision. The final hearing is fraught with tension. Claire's facade crumbles under the weight of evidence, her lies laid bare for the court to see. The judge is stern as she delivers her verdict, granting me full custody of Emily, citing Claire's manipulative tactics and dishonesty as the reasons. Claire's reaction is one of shock and despair, her plans unraveling before her eyes. With the custody battle won, the fight shifts back to clearing my name at work. My former colleague's confession helps reverse the administrative actions against me. I return to my job with a sense of vindication, but the professional relationships I once valued are strained, the trust needing to be rebuilt. The repercussions for Claire are severe. Her credibility is shattered, both personally and professionally. She tries to reach out, perhaps in a bid for reconciliation or another manipulative ploy, but I am cautious. My response is measured. As the dust settles, I focus on rebuilding the life Claire tried to destroy. My days are filled with work and evenings with Emily, each day a step away from the chaos that had engulfed us. Slowly, the normalcy returns, the simple pleasures of a routine, bringing peace that had been sorely missed. This period of rebuilding is not just about repairing the past, but fortifying against future storms. I invest in a security system more robust than before, wary of any further threats. Legally, I ensure all arrangements with Claire are tightly sealed, leaving no room for ambiguity or further legal wrangling. Emily's resilience astounds me, her ability to adapt and find happiness, a constant reminder of why every struggle was worth enduring. Her laughter fills the home again, her future now secure, our bond stronger for the trials we faced together. The battle has left scars, but also a profound clarity about what matters most. As I tuck Emily into bed, her smile is a beacon of hope, a promise of new beginnings and a life reclaimed from the brink. I close her door gently, a sense of peace settling over me. The night no longer a canvas for worries, but a veil of quiet contemplation. The court is a stark, unforgiving space. The sharp lines of the benches, the cold, hard light from above, it all mirrors the tension that has taken root deep within me. As I sit there waiting for proceedings to begin anew, the weight of what's at stake presses down on me with suffocating force. I glance over at Claire. She seems unnerved today, her usual composure replaced by a twitch of nervousness. Today, everything changes. The day's session starts with the opposition laying out what they believe is a conclusive argument against me. Claire's lawyer, with his polished demeanor, presents a narrative that paints her as a victim of my supposed irrational jealousy and vindictiveness. My heart races. Each word from him feels like a strike against the truth I live. However, as they lay out their evidence, the tide begins to turn. The co-worker, Jason, is called to testify, and for the first time, his assurance wavers. Under the relentless questioning from my lawyer, cracks begin to show. Jason hesitates. His answers become inconsistent with the story they've tried to weave. It becomes clear to the room that not all is as Claire has portrayed. My lawyer then calls a surprise witness, someone from my past who knows Claire's character intimately. As she speaks, the room falls silent. Her testimony sheds light on Claire's history of deceit and manipulation, painting a picture of a woman who uses lies as a weapon. The jurors' faces, previously unreadable, now show flickers of doubt, their eyes shifting as they absorb the weight of these revelations. The turning point comes when my lawyer presents video evidence, previously undisclosed. It's a recording from a surveillance camera, not from our home, but from Claire's workplace. The video reveals her in a compromising situation with another coworker, not Jason, contradicting her claims of fidelity and commitment. The room erupts in murmurs. The judge calls for order, but the damage is done. Claire's facade isn't just cracked, it's shattered. As the evidence mounts, I can see the change in the jury's demeanor. Skepticism takes root, and the once solid narrative of Claire's lawyer begins to crumble. My own testimony follows. I speak not just about the events in question, but about the pain, the betrayal, and most importantly, the truth. My voice is steady, my resolve clear. I lay bare the emotional and psychological toll this ordeal has taken on me and Emily. The closing arguments are tense. Claire's lawyer tries to salvage the situation, but the desperation in his tone is palpable. When it's my lawyer's turn, he's concise, his argument weaving through the testimonies and evidence with precision, reinforcing the inconsistencies and outright lies presented by Claire and her team. The jury deliberates for hours, the wait agonizing. When they finally return, the courtroom is thick with anticipation. The lead juror stands, the verdict in hand. Guilty, Claire is found guilty of false allegations and manipulative actions. The judge's sentencing follows, her tone stern, her decision aimed not just at punishing Claire, but at sending a clear message about the gravity of her deceit. With the trial concluded, the relief is immediate and overwhelming, but it's tempered by the sorrow of what's been lost along the way. Friends, time, peace. The cost of this victory is immeasurable. As I step out of the courtroom, the air feels different, lighter and yet heavy with the residue of the battle. I return to work the following week, my reputation partially restored, but still tender to the touch. Colleagues who had distanced themselves approach cautiously, their congratulations mingled with curious, sometimes wary glances. Rebuilding my professional life will take time, patience, and a new resilience, but I am ready for it. As for Claire, the consequences of her actions envelop her. Her professional life suffers as the public nature of the trial exposes her actions. Socially ostracized and legally rebuked, she finds herself isolated, a stark contrast to the life she once commanded. The irony of her initial threat, to destroy me and leave me with nothing, is not lost on me. She is left grappling with the ruins of her own making. In the quiet moments at home, when I watch Emily play or see her asleep, peaceful and unaware of the chaos that swirled around her, I feel a mix of sorrow and relief. The battle is over, but its echoes will linger. My fight was not just for my reputation or for justice, but for her, for our future. As I tuck her into bed that night, Emily's innocent eyes look up at me, her trust and love clear and unshaken. "Daddy, I'm glad you're here," she murmurs as she drifts off. Her words are simple but profound, and they renew my resolve. This fight was for her, and no matter what comes next, that truth remains unaltered. I close her door softly behind me, the silence of the house a stark canvas for reflection. The fight is done, the night is ours again, and tomorrow, no matter what it holds, we face it together. As the dust settles from the trial and the emotional turmoil that surrounded it, the reality of my new life begins to take shape. The courtroom victory is significant, but it is only the first step in a long path toward restoring what was damaged and building anew. With Claire's manipulations exposed and the legal battles behind me, the focus shifts to healing and reconstruction. The first order of business is securing my position at work. My return to the office is met with mixed reactions, relief from those who supported me, awkward avoidance from others. The accusations Claire levied against me had poisoned the well of my professional relationships, and I know it will take time to filter out the mistrust. I spend long hours working diligently, demonstrating my commitment and stability, slowly mending the frayed threads of my career. Financially, the strain of legal fees and the frozen accounts begin to ease. I work with financial advisors to untangle the complex web of our joint finances, ensuring stability and clarity moving forward. It's arduous and draining, But with each resolved issue, a piece of my peace of mind is restored. At home, Emily and I find our rhythm again. With Claire's influence waning, we enjoy simple pleasures, movie nights, walks in the park, and quiet dinners. It's during these moments that I see the resilience in Emily's eyes, her capacity to rebound from the chaos that enveloped her young life. Our conversations, once tiptoeing around the shards of the past, now venture into plans for the future, filled with hope and laughter. However, the emotional scars remain, not just for me, but for Emily too. I enlist the help of a therapist for both of us, a neutral space where we can unpack the events of the past months. These sessions are tough, often leaving us emotionally spent, but they're vital. They help us understand and process the feelings of betrayal and upheaval. And importantly, they start mending the deeper wounds. Claire's downfall, meanwhile, becomes a cautionary tale. The legal repercussions she faces are severe. Fraud charges related to her financial manipulations, and a smear on her professional reputation that she cannot easily erase. Her attempts to reach out to us are tentative and laden with a mix of remorse and desperation. I handle them with a guarded civility for Emily's sake, ensuring that any interaction is strictly controlled and legally bounded. In this time of rebuilding, I also focus on securing our home environment. Upgraded security systems, new routines, and a reevaluation of who we trust mark the tangible changes. But it's the intangible ones that are more profound. The rebuilding of trust, the slow reinforcement of a safe, emotional space for Emily and me. Reconnection with old friends and family also plays a crucial role in our recovery. I reach out, explaining, apologizing where necessary, and mostly reopening lines of communication that Claire had sabotaged. Many are understanding, sympathetic even, and the rekindled relationships help restore a sense of community and support that had been sorely missing. Professionally, I receive a significant vindication when the company that had placed me on administrative leave issues a formal apology and a statement clearing my name. This gesture helps repair some of the damage to my reputation, and I feel a weight lift off my shoulders, a public acknowledgement of my innocence and integrity. In these months, my relationship with Emily deepens, our bond forged stronger by adversity. Her resilience astonishes me, her ability to find joy in the everyday, a constant lesson in perspective. I dedicate myself to her happiness and well-being, ensuring she grows up in a stable, loving environment, far removed from the shadows of the past. Life starts to feel normal again, or perhaps a new version of normal. I take up hobbies that I had set aside, photography, hiking, activities that Claire had little interest in, but that I find profoundly healing. They bring me peace, a connection to the simpler elements of life that had been overshadowed by the drama. And then, there's the personal side of healing, the aspect of my life that involves moving past Claire. I start tentatively at first. The companionship, the newness of romance brings a refreshing dimension to my life that I hadn't realized I missed. It's nothing serious yet, but the flirtations, the dinners out, the stretch into the night. So this path to resolution isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growth. The ashes of the past. It's about teaching Emily that while life can sometimes derail in the most dramatic ways, such the strength we draw from our struggles shapes us more than the struggles themselves. As I look ahead, this future is uncertain but no longer daunting. The trials have equipped us with strength, resilience, and as I put Emily to bed each night, our shared laughter and a soft echo in her room, I am reminded of the journey we've undertaken. From the deepest betrayals to the heights of vindication, our path has been but transformative. We are not than we were, and perhaps that's the most profound resolution of all. We are better, stronger, and together in ways that the chaos tried to prevent, but ultimately profoundly failed to achieve. As I close Emily's door quietly, leaving her to dreams filled with the innocence of childhood, I step into the quiet night of our living room, a sense of peace enveloping me. Tomorrow is another day, and it is ours to shape. Months have passed since the dust and the courtrooms settled, since the gavel's echo marked a turning point in my life. Our daily rhythms, once discordant and tense, now play a soothing melody of normal stability. Yet, despite these victories and the semblance of peace, The final chapter of this painful saga awaits closure, a last encounter with Claire. It's a crisp autumn morning when I receive a call from Claire's lawyer. Unexpected voice breaking through the tranquility of a Saturday. He proposes a meeting, a final negotiation to settle any lingering legal discrepancies and personal grievances. With a deep breath and a glance at Emily, playing contentedly, I agree. It's time to face this last remnant of a shared past. We meet at a neutral location, a quiet cafe that overlooks the river, its waters mirroring the chill in the air. Claire is already there, looking diminished, the fallout from her actions visibly weighing her down. Her eyes, once sharp and challenging, now hold a muted sadness, a reflection of loss and regret. As I approach, our eyes meet. The tension is palpable, a tangible shiver in the air, but my resolve is firm. This meeting, this final reckoning, is about securing my daughter's future, about laying to rest any threats that might still linger from Claire's corner. We sit, the small table between us a battleground of sorts, laden with legal documents and past grievances. Claire speaks first, her voice low, carrying a tremor I hadn't heard before. "I'm sorry," she begins, the words seeming to cost her. "I know it's late, and it's not enough, but I am." The apology, sincere or not, doesn't erase the past, but it opens a door to a discussion that is less about conflict and more about resolution. We talk at first awkwardly, then with a cautious flow, covering everything from financial settlements to final custody arrangements. It's clear that Claire's fight has left her, replaced by a need to find her own path forward, away from the destruction she caused. Her lawyer outlines a proposal, ensuring that Emily remains my primary concern, with Claire having agreed visitation rights, all legally bound to prevent any potential abuse. I add my conditions, keenly aware of the need to protect not just my rights but Emily's well-being. Claire nods, accepting each term with a resigned understanding. As we sign the documents, the weight of years seems to lift slightly. This paperwork, these signatures, they don't just represent the end of legal battles, they signify the end of a shared chapter, the closing of a book filled with turmoil and strife. With the formalities concluded, Claire pauses as she stands to leave. "I never meant for it to go this far," she says, a flicker of the old defiance passing through her gaze. "I hope one day you can both forgive me." I nod, the response non-committal. Forgiveness is a commodity still too rich for my current reserves. "Take care, Claire," is all I offer. A simple farewell to a woman who was once the center of my world, but is now little more than a stranger. Watching her leave, a part of me feels a pang, a complex cocktail of relief, sadness, and release. I turn back to the window, the river outside flowing relentlessly onward, a silent testament to the passage of time and the healing it can bring. In the days that follow, I reflect on the journey that brought us here. The lessons have been harsh, the costs high. Yet through it all, I've discovered reservoirs of strength I hadn't known I possessed, and a capacity for change and forgiveness I hadn't appreciated. I've learned about the law, about the depths of deceit, but more importantly, about the heights of paternal love and the fierce protectiveness it engenders. This process of reflection is not just about understanding the past, but about preparing for the future. I find myself planning not just for next week or next month, but for the years to come, ensuring financial stability for Emily, setting educational goals, and laying the foundations for a home filled with love and devoid of fear. And in these plans, there's a new element, a new person in my life, someone who has started to bring a sense of companionship and new love. It's early yet, and the scars of the past are still tender, but there's a promise of something that could grow, something that speaks of hope and healing. As I look to the horizon, to the future stretching out before Emily and me, I see challenges, certainly. Life is never without them. But I also see possibilities, bright and inviting, calling us to step forward into a new dawn. A new beginning marked not by the shadows of what was, but by the light of what could be. In this newfound peace, in this hopeful beginning, I find a strength not just to continue, but to thrive. And as I watch Emily growing every day into a smart, strong, and joyful young girl, I know that no matter what comes, The journey we've traveled together has prepared us both for a future full of promise. This reckoning, this final settling of past accounts, is indeed just that, a new account, one that we fill with memories of laughter, love, and the shared joy of lives intertwined and moving forward together. The journey from chaos to tranquility has been a tumultuous one, marked by battles both in the courtroom and within the confines of my own heart. As I stand now in the serene quiet of our living room, watching the sunset paint golden hues across the room, a sense of peace settles over me, a stark contrast to the turmoil that once seemed endless. Emily plays on the floor, her dolls lined up for an evening story, a scene of childhood innocence and joy. She looks up at me, her smile wide, and it's in these moments, these simple, pure snapshots of life, that I find the greatest clarity about the past and hope for the future. Reflecting on the journey, the stages unfold like chapters in a novel I never intended to write. From the shock and betrayal at Emily's birthday party to the gripping tension in the courtroom, each moment was a step on a path that led me not just back to a semblance of normalcy, but forward into new realms of understanding and strength. The legal battles were arduous, a test of endurance and faith, but they taught me the value of truth and the strength of patience. The ordeal also brought unexpected lessons in love and relationships. The bond between Emily and me, forged stronger by adversity, now serves as the cornerstone of our family. It's a relationship built on open communication, trust, and immense love. Qualities that were tested but ultimately unbroken through the trials we faced. During the trials, I learned about resilience, the type that's required not just to withstand storms, but to walk through them with your head held high, focused on the light that waits beyond the clouds. This resilience has reshaped my view of challenges, transforming obstacles into opportunities to learn and grow. Looking forward, the future holds new promises and possibilities. The peace that now graces our lives is not just a respite, but a foundation upon which we can build. Plans for Emily's education, our home life, and my career are now colored with optimism and driven by a renewed sense of purpose. Each decision is made with a forward-looking gaze, considering not just the immediate effects, but the long-term benefits for our well-being. Hints of future challenges linger at the edges of this newfound peace. The legal and emotional battles have ended, but their echoes remind me that life is a series of ebbs and flows. Preparedness and vigilance, qualities honed in the past months, remain as my companions, ready to face whatever comes next. As Emily sets her dolls down and runs up to hug me, her laughter fills the room, echoing off the walls and warming the spaces that were once cold with uncertainty. "Daddy, can we read a story?" she asks, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Of course, my love," I reply, lifting her into my arms. We settle into the cozy armchair, a book in hand, the final rays of the sun casting gentle light over us. This simple act of reading a bedtime story, a daily ritual that once felt mundane, now holds deeper meaning. It's a celebration of normalcy, of the joy found in moments spent together, safe and secure in the sanctuary we've rebuilt. This story, our story, concludes not with a dramatic finale, but with a quiet affirmation of continued growth and healing. The challenges we faced have sculpted us into stronger, more connected individuals. And as I turn the pages, reading aloud to an enraptured audience of one, the future feels not like a threat, but like a promise, a canvas ready to be filled with the bright colors of new adventures, laughter, and love. As the story ends and I tuck Emily in, her gentle breaths a soft symphony in the quiet night, I step back and take a moment to savor the peace. Our journey through the darkest times has led us here, to a place of gentle nightfalls and hopeful dawns. And as I turn off the light, leaving the door ajar just a crack, the slice of light a silent promise of my presence, I feel a profound gratitude for the trials that taught us so much. Tomorrow holds no guarantees, but it brims with potential. For Emily, for myself, and for the new life we have crafted from the remnants of the old. The future is a landscape ripe with possibility, ready for us to explore it together. With resilience as our guide and love as our motive, we step into this new chapter, not just surviving, but thriving.